The content presented is for entertainment purposes only. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Periodic Review. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. We're going to be talking a little bit about Under the Banner of Heaven, a little bit about Mormonism and religion in general. Religion in general?
Hey!
Well, hello, and welcome. I am your host, Jay Rhymes. Sitting in first chair is Miss Rianne. How are you doing, Miss Rianne?
I'm here. Yay.
You look beautiful.
I look like a blueberry.
It's okay. I look like a zit that's about ready to pop. So
Blueberries for lunch.
And sitting in the second chair is Mr. Alakai. How's your boy?
Hey girl, hey.
Hey girl, hey. It's good to be back. Feels weird. Especially with my face being so naked.
Yeah, that did. Or not necessarily weird. I was just like, whoa.
Mistakes were made.
Who's that man?
Mistakes were made.
Who's that lady?
You don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne. Oh, wrong song. Sorry.
That was literally me when I shaved my face for the first time in like 6 months or a year, I think, and I was like, oh, that's why I have a beard, to hide my weak jawline.
I'm trying to hide my double chin is what I'm trying to do. I'm going to get rid of that, though.
Okay.
Doing good this last month, so.
Okay. Yo. I just need to say this. I love my husband, and I think he is a handsome man. 100%.
Yes!
But I have always been a girl that loves a man with beards. Always. Always 100%.
It's so funny because it's like, I don't remember who I was having this conversation. I think I was talking to somebody at work. I was like, so who's a celebrity that you have a crush on? And immediately, without skipping a beat, she was like, Jason Momoa. And I was like, you know what, girl? Me too.
He is pretty. Okay,
He is pretty.
Jason
He is a
Momoa.
very handsome man.
This is my type.
It's your type.
I have a type. Men with beards and long hair.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I love my husband. I think he's handsome no matter what. But when he shaved his beard off and then kissed me, it just was weird.
I bet.
I gotta say, it's weird. I can't. It reminds me of kissing a
Baby.
like 13-year-old boy, and it's weird. It's weird. I know.
So it reminded you of your first kiss is what you're saying.
Yes.
So that's kind of a good thing then. Maybe
No,
a little awkward thing.
it wasn't.
I don't know.
It wasn't
Maybe.
a good thing. It was no. My first kiss was not awesome.
Aw.
Now my second kiss was with a dude with a beard, and that was my first Frencher.
Oh.
So there may be some
Parlez-vous
positive association there.
Parlez-vous français?
Do you even know what you're saying?
No.
I don't know what you're saying.
Most of the time I don't know what I'm saying anyways. So.
I know a little bit of French.
You're
but I don't know what
asking
saying.
if I speak French, but more as a
Statement
rather than a question. So
Well,
you're all parlez-vous français?
Parlez-vous français?
Whatever the hell that means.
Well, Mr. Alakai, why don't you update us? I know it's been a few weeks since we've been together. What you been up to lately? What you been doing?
So I caved and I got that gym membership.
Yeah.
So
How's that been going?
Oh, good. Pretty good. I just know you and I were talking about this earlier, Jacob.
Yes,
but
we were.
Like I just know that I need to be careful and not push myself too hard, because like as someone as skinny as I am, I'm just like, I'm trying to put on muscle, trying to gain weight. And so I'm constantly like trying to push myself and get stronger. But it's like, I know I need to be careful and I know I need to watch it, because I've injured my shoulders quite a few times. And I know if I do that again, then I'm just going to be out of the game for a minute. And it's going to make it so much harder to feel motivated to go back into the gym. So, but I got a scale this last week, and I weighed myself at the beginning of June, and I was weighing in at about 145 pounds. And when I weighed myself this last weekend, I'm now at 175 pounds.
Nice.
After
Getting those gains.
Gains, yeah.
Gains
So
and games.
That's cool. That's cool to see, even though like physically I haven't really noticed it.
I can definitely tell. But that's because I've known you since at your thinnest. So
Yeah, you see me when I was skin and bones.
See,
Yeah.
and it would not necessarily be appropriate for me as a married woman to say, I've noticed, but I have.
Thank you. I
it
appreciate
looks great,
it.
doesn't it?
Like, just to hear
Yeah.
people say, like, oh, like, you look really good. Or I've noticed. Like, I
I've-
appreciate that. Because then
I've
it's like,
noticed
well,
more
great.
bulk in the shoulders.
Really?
Yeah.
My shoulders are, like, my weakest point. So I appreciate that.
Well, I've
Like
noticed
your
more
trap-
bulk there.
This area right here.
My traps?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought my
Those
hair was
definitely.
blocking
No, we could definitely tell that's been growing a little bit.
that. Cool.
Maybe it's just
Yeah.
being accentuated by what you're wearing today, but
Oh,
I
that's
Yeah, I'm
probably
wearing
true.
a tank top, so it was
tanking
warm
out.
today. But aside from that, I have also discovered cold showers. I think I like cold showers better now. So I've been taking cold showers. Not well, I don't shower every single day, but like when I do shower, I've been taking cold showers for the last like 3 weeks now. So now my body's at the point where I'm pretty much used to it. So like, I'm not gonna lie, I actually feel really, really good. Like after taking a cold shower and getting out, I just feel like I have so much more energy and like I'm more awake. Granted, like, no shit, it's a cold shower,
Yeah.
but like
if it doesn't
like-
wake you up, you're.
I just feel like I have so much more energy after a cold shower. So 10 out of 10 recommend. If you've never taken a cold shower, do it. You'll have so much more energy afterwards.
Well,
I've been
So-
doing that the last
People-
couple of weeks,
people
but just
have
quick
been-
ones. Quick ones.
quick ones. They don't get that cold, honestly.
No, not out here.
It's like impossible to take a cold shower in Arizona too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
especially in the summertime. It's just
Right.
everything's hot.
But people are spending like thousands of dollars on ice tubs,
Yeah,
ice baths and stuff.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That I won't do that. Actually,
But
maybe I will.
the health benefits to it, like Tony Robbins as a high performer, he gets in an ice bath every morning. Joe Rogan, same thing. These are
Yeah.
like
A
high
lot of
earners, high
athletes.
performers. Athletes do
athletes
it.
do it. They do a lot of ice bath and sauna.
And actually, it's, yeah. So
It's interesting.
I don't know. I don't have the energy to do it, but maybe one day I would fill my
just-
tub with ice.
I would be down to
And
getting
do
an
that.
ice tub. That actually sounds.
I want
I'd
to
be
try
down.
it, but I don't know if I could do it for very long.
I probably wouldn't do it for very long either. I'd probably be like, you know what? Where's the hot tub? And then
Where
just
is
jump in
that hot
after.
tub, bro? Where is that hot? I'm gonna jump in the sauna like right afterwards.
Yeah, right. Oh my
What about
goodness.
Miss Rianne? What's been up? I mean, what's been up your alley? I don't know what I was trying
Can
to
we
say.
ask that a different way?
How's
'Cause that could be-
what's new in
What's
your book?
What's going on in your neck of the woods?
There you go.
So I have a midterm that I need to take tonight for one of my classes before
Ooh.
11:59, and it's so as soon as we're done here, I'm going to be going and doing that. No, that's not fun. Exciting. Work is super busy, and like now that I have people to handle certain aspects of my job, like certain things have opened up again, and I don't feel like I don't know. It's just crazy. So
Yeah,
planning for our gala that's literally 2 months away from
it's coming up
Wednesday
fast.
or tomorrow. Actually, 2 months away from tomorrow is coming up, and I'm panicking a little bit because I still don't feel like I have enough time in the day to get everything done that I need to, but that's okay. And we have a new sanctuary, or a little mini sanctuary in our backyard that we've been working on, and I'm excited for that.
Jared was
Yup,
telling me
yup.
about that.
Working hard at it.
Yeah,
Just finished a little bit of it today.
Yeah, he sent me pictures. I was like, oh, now all we got to do is get the hammock frames out there, and
Yeah, we could hammock tonight.
we need to hammock. How about while I do my final or my midterm, you can set up the hammock the hammock frames so that when I'm done with my midterm, all I have to do is go out and just sit there and be like I told my friend, actually, I told my team today, because we had kind of a marathon meeting day today. I said, all I want tonight is to go home, finish my midterm, get myself a nice adult popsicle, get my Kindle with my slutty book on it, and sit in my hammock and then just chill.
Yeah, yeah. I'll probably. I need to finish my book I started, the Stephen King book on writing, because
Oh.
I got books starting to pile up now. I need to get going on that.
You ever start a book and then you're like, you know what? I'm going to start another book. And then you started another book. And then you realize, well, crap, I don't remember which one I'm reading.
Yeah, it's a bad idea. Don't do it.
Yeah, you got to just stick with the one book.
Yeah. I can only stick with one. I have a hard time moving between different.
You get lost in translation and a lot of different things that are going on.
It's like you get lost in too many different timelines. My friends, like, they used to read books all the time. Like, they would never watch TV, and they would go and get like 10 books from the library and read them all. And then, but I'm like, I can't do that. I'm like, I just need one book to focus on.
Yeah.
See, I have a hard time with reading. I've noticed that I've started getting, like, having an even harder time with sitting down and watching a show or even a movie. Like, I just have such a hard time sitting still now. Whoa. But, like, so now I'm even less motivated to read books now. Because it's like, if I can't sit down and watch a show or a movie, like, how am I supposed to sit still to like, read a book?
Yeah.
But
this is what happened. Social media came along and killed everybody's attention span.
that's also true.
That's so true.
Like TikTok.
That's so true.
Exact reason why. It's like
so true.
Like, I even working out, when I first started working out, I could not work out without having something on the TV. Like, not even like having earbuds in, like having music or a podcast was sufficient enough. It was like, no, I need to like watch something. Now that I have a gym membership, I've like actually gotten used to working out with a podcast or something going on. But
there you go.
Like,
there you go.
Which I started listening to the Mormon Stories podcast. I don't know if you guys have listened to them, but
no,
they're really interesting guy. Always has like a bunch of different guests come on the show to talk about like their experiences in the Mormon Church, which we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Hint. But really good podcast. I started listening to Joe Rogan's podcast.
He's got some great people on his podcast.
Yeah.
Armchair experts with Dax Shepard's really good.
Yeah.
Trying to think of some other ones that are pretty good.
I like listening to the ones where he has like the comedians come on and
Yeah.
talk with him, because that's more like they just go off the rails.
Yeah.
It's like they don't really have a subject that they're going for. They're just kind of shooting the shit, and that's all they're doing. I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what's really made him popular.
Yeah.
Not really a ton, I guess, to update on myself. As you can see, I went babyface. If you're watching the video, if you're not,
his face is as smooth as a baby's bum.
it's kind of stubbly right now. Mistakes were made, and I'm going to be growing it back out.
Were mistakes made?
I lost 9 pounds last month, which is pretty awesome.
Good job, babe.
It's pretty exciting. Quit caffeine. I think I said that the last one we did, but had some like really weird stuff happening like after that, and we believe it was because I switched to try to take magnesium and what was I taking? D3 before I went to bed, and
you were taking vitamin D and magnesium.
Yeah, and so we stopped that 3 days ago, and literally like 24 hours later, my headache stopped, and I've had 2 days straight now. I've had 0 headaches. So that's all the things that I'm updated on.
I really do wonder if there's something in it that you could have an allergic reaction to.
It's possible. Maybe there's like dyes or something in it, or maybe the capsule, or I don't know. It maybe just my body's like, yeah, I don't know what to do with this.
Or maybe you just don't need magnesium. All you need is vitamin D.
That's possible.
Because it's possible that like your body is fine producing magnesium. It might just need.
Yeah.
Or it maybe needs it in a different form. Who knows?
Who knows? We'll keep track of it. So just a little bit too, guys. We just wanted to let you know that today's episode is sponsored by viewers like you. So thank you. We normally do stream on Mondays, but if you missed today's live stream, there's always no need to worry, because the Periodic Review is now free on the go at Spotify.com. So don't forget to watch, listen, and rate the show today. You can also send us your topic ideas, articles, and video links to theperiodicreview@gmail.com. Hopefully your subscription will be earned today, so don't forget to hit that red subscribe button, click that damn bell, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a content release. The best way to support the channel is to share this live stream with family and friends and crush that like button. And don't forget to leave us a comment down below about today's topics. And welcome to the show. We really do love and appreciate you. So it is the first Monday of the month of what month is this? This is now August.
It's August.
It's
dude.
August, bro.
Shut
It's
up.
August. Today's August. Today's August 1st. So I was typing today's date multiple times today, and by the end of the day, I was still typing July.
Yeah.
I was like, just like I can't do this. Like, I bet tomorrow I'm still going to be typing July. But
Yeah. It's kind of one of those things. It's just like sometimes you just don't roll over to the next month, like 1 or 2 days into
Right.
it for some strange reason. I don't know why. But yeah, for some reason, it's just like, I just want to stay in July for some reason.
Same.
So we've both seen the first season of Under the Banner of Heaven, which is a show that kind of based around the LDS people, as well as some of the more fundamental LDS individuals and organizations, and it follows. Tell us a little bit about who it follows, Mr. Alakai, and as I pull so I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah. So this show actually has 3 different storylines. Two out of the 3 are based on true stories, and 1 is fictional. So our main character that we follow is Jeb Pyrie. He's a cop that's put on this case in this Mormon town in Utah, and then you have the story of the family that's involved and the story of the history behind Joseph Smith.
Yeah.
So the only story within those 3 is Jeb Pyrie's story is not a true story. His arc was developed as a window for the audience to learn about these 2 other stories that took place in the 1980s and then earlier in Joseph Smith's time in like the 1800s. I don't remember exactly when. I'm not very good at any history that's after BC. I'm not very good with. So
Okay, so the detective's character was not an actual. There was people that actually followed these.
mm-hmm.
So these things that were going on, but this wasn't one of the actual.
Yeah, so the
detectives or whatever.
The Laffertys, that was a legit story. I don't know how historically accurate their story is. I know that Joseph Smith's history that they depict is pretty accurate. But as far as the Lafferty family goes, I don't know how accurate their storytelling is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jeb Pyrie's story was there to be that window for the audience to experience the stuff that happened with the Lafferty family and the history behind Joseph Smith. And it's really interesting because I think the biggest plot point of this whole show for me that I think I saw was the conflict that you see with his beliefs, because immediately the very first scene is him playing in his front yard with his 2 little girls, and they're in their pioneer dresses. The first episode is taking place on Pioneer Day.
Yeah.
And in Utah, that's a big holiday that Mormons celebrate. And like you can just tell, like, he's very Mormon dad, and like it shows him with his family, like they're saying a prayer together at the very beginning, which I think the only thing that I found kind of inaccurate in this whole show was the way that they prayed. Like growing up in the LDS community, you're taught to like fold your arms, like bow your head, but the way that they do it, like they have their fingers interlocked, like they're making.
Yeah.
It's like, did anyone ever do that? Like,
I don't recall.
I don't think, like, Mormons don't pray like that. Like,
My grandpa
think so.
did.
really?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I've never seen anybody pray like that. But
My grandmother prayed like with her hand on her head, one hand on her head, and bowed.
yeah.
At the table. I don't know. That's just how she always did it, but I don't know. So the part of it that was actually, depicting some of these things from the past, which was actually historically, part of things that happened in the world, was Utah versus Lafferty, which was a 1984 murder case in the state of Utah. And it gained substantial publicity, due to the accused person's statement that the murders were the result of a divine revelation.
Yep.
So yeah, and as far as like the aesthetics, it really did make you feel like it was back in the 80s, which is pretty awesome.
It's really interesting to see too, because it's like the Lafferty family is one of those. This is one of the things that is huge, I think, in the LDS faith, is the cult within the cult. Like their family in and of itself, like the way that they run things is very, very culty. Yeah. Just like you have this one, like their father who is leading this. It's a big family. They're a big family. Like they have how many kids? Like 5. I think there was like 5 or 6 sons that they have. And all these sons have their own families, except for I think one. But oh man, their family is huge. But like,
well, and it depicts them as LDS royalty, and there are names within the LDS.
He's a chiropractor, which is a huge thing in a lot of Mormon families. I feel like is a lot of Mormons going to
chiropractic. Yeah, but they, because they're quacks. No, now let me say this. I love chiropractic. I go to chiropractor. I'd rather go to a chiropractor.
I would
if
too.
I'm not feeling good than like to an urgent care or whatever, just because I feel like a good adjustment, my body will.
I will. Yeah.
Sing.
I do trust that chiropractors more than a general.
Because they focus more on the body and how to heal itself, as opposed to let's just shove pills on you.
Yeah.
Well, because they just treat the symptoms, they don't treat any underlying
So
actual illness.
It'll go down a rabbit hole. Anyway, but there are names within the LDS, or Latter-day Saints. Now I'm like feeling like I have to be all politically correct and stuff.
I'm not even being politically correct.
But that are like royalty, basically, right? Like Young's, Marriott, lots of names. Nelson, I mean
Swift family.
Yeah. Well, they're in Arizona.
Yeah, they own the Swift trucking
But there
company.
are some big families in the LDS. Like Romney has become one.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, Romney is an interesting case because he was raised in a basically in a what do they call it? A homesteading situation out in Mexico or something, or New Mexico.
Are you sure about that?
Wasn't that the case? With Mitt Romney?
I know absolutely nothing.
Or no, not
Romney.
Mitt. Who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Not Mitt Romney.
I don't know. Who was thinking of?
I don't know.
Maybe it was. I don't know. I think of somebody else. I apologize. I retract that statement. Edit. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyway, so getting back, Laffertys were a prominent LDS family, especially back then.
Yeah. And you hear Jeb Pyrie say that in the very beginning in their investigation, like when they bring Alan Lafferty in, the guy whose wife is found murdered. When they bring him in, they're like, "Oh, that's a Lafferty. Like their family is so well known in our community. Like they're very." I don't remember the word that he used to describe them, but just it was a word used to describe like very well known and like yeah. But
I can't find the exact amount of family members.
I know there were like 5 or 6 sons in that family. There was Alan. There was Ron.
Well, I think, okay, so according to the cinemaaholic.com, it says that there's currently over 200 members of their family out running around out there.
That's
so they've
huge.
been having big families and as the LDS people say, multiplying and replenishing the earth.
Oh my.
So
yeah. That is the job.
that is something that they do, proclaim to individuals in the church, just to continue to.
That is our purpose here.
Yep.
Is to come and multiply and replenish.
Yo, the earth is plenty multiplied. St. George's traffic is insane. Cedars is getting the same. I think we've replenished enough.
Well,
We're good.
I don't think we're replenishing. I think we're getting a lot of transient people moving in from like places like California and
Yeah, that's true.
Portland and I don't know, anywhere in New York.
That is weird. I've met a lot of people here from Portland. I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, here?
Yep, Cali.
Here?
Mhm.
You're from Portland and you're coming here?
Yeah,
Why?
and Oregon's beautiful. Like I've been up there. It's gorgeous. But yeah, the way that they've all the riots and stuff is just
Mm-hmm.
it's not been great. One thing that I did feel was very genuine about the series is that their vernacular and vocabulary and like the verbiage and the way that
How they
LDS
say
people
Heavenly
talk.
Father instead of God.
Yes.
You know,
I
know
feel
what's
like
crazy?
I feel like it was maybe a little overdone, but that's just because I was raised in Arizona where it wasn't maybe not as
I think for Utah, it was.
for Utah. I felt it was
Yeah.
very very genuine. It
Mhm.
was very believable. So
One huge thing that I noticed in the very beginning was like when his partner Bill Taba, I think he curses, he says "God damn," and Jeb looks over at him and he's just like, language, like it's very like,
yeah.
okay, that is so authentically
We do
Mormon,
not
dude.
use the
Like,
Lord's name in vain.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Yep.
Like-
No, that's totally how they do it.
Yeah, but
Which is no, it's true though, because like I remember even me growing up, my mom and like my dad wasn't active. My mom became active like right before, like around when I was like 6 or 7,
mhm.
you know, and so I could get baptized and all that stuff. But like even then, my mom was like, "We don't say piss. That's a bad word."
My mom did the
Did
same
not
thing.
like piss. She wouldn't let me watch the Simpsons or MTV or
Like whenever I said crap, my mom would always be like crud. Like
yeah,
she would
like
always.
crap was too bad. Yes, I had
Yeah.
the same thing.
Well, Rianne, you know a little bit about this. Why don't you explain for the viewers who are not LDS or very informed on the LDS faith? Why don't you explain what does active and inactive mean in the LDS Church?
Oh, active is where you go and you're a good person on Sundays.
Okay, so you're actively participating, like you're going to church meetings,
Right.
you're going to Sunday.
And you go to young men
Sacraments,
and
you go to
young
young
women,
young women,
like the
Mhm.
like the weekly activities.
You go to the
and
weekly. Yep. Yeah.
You hold a calling
Yep.
where you do your visiting teaching or your home teaching. Visiting teaching is for the women. Home teaching is for the men. Like,
Never really understand why they had to separate that.
Yeah,
those
I don't know.
But
I don't even know.
It's
but
fine.
The thing is in the last 5 years, things have changed so much. And I'm just like, from when I grew up to now, like, I've just realized since I've gone inactive, which means I don't go to church, I don't hold a calling, I don't pay my tithing,
Yeah.
at least to the church, I don't. But I think I've lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Maybe you need to put your phone down, stop watching TikToks.
I'm not watching TikToks.
Can't confirm she's not. We would hear it.
Confirmed, not watching TikToks. I apologize. I retract my comment. My accusation, I should say.
I was explaining inactive and active. So
yeah.
that's
So
basically-
inactive just basically means that,
haven't
you're
had
not
your-
going to church every Sunday. You're not, or they can consider that less.
But you're
active,
still a baptized member, so you're
Right.
still considered a member of the church. You're just not.
You're just
Mhm.
considered less active, or an inactivity just means that you're not necessarily practicing
Right.
outside of
think-
activities in church.
You can still go as far to say like you can call yourself an ex-Mormon if you choose to like go that far. I think if you're no longer like studying, practicing the beliefs, and you're like,
Yeah.
if you're as far enough to be like totally against it. I mean,
Yeah.
I say that I'm an ex-Mormon, so I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you gone as far as like sending in a formal request to have your names removed off the rolls?
No, I
Okay.
haven't. I don't know that I necessarily care enough to, but
I think the only
if I need to, then I would consider it.
Because that's like what people do. Like sometimes that's a healing process for them
Huh, fair enough.
to do that.
Well, I think also it stops all of the annoying phone calls and text messages and emails to participate and to go to church and to. You will be blessed if you attend this certain service project for Aunt Jemima.
That's probably the only thing that I really am like okay with and kind of support of the Mormon faith doing is like service projects, like helping people move in or out, or like just getting like a group of boys together to go do some yard work for an old couple that can't do it themselves or something. I think that stuff is kind of that's kind of cool. Also, Boy Scouts. I'm a huge supporter of the Boy Scouts as long as they're led by the right leaders and they have men that
they're no longer participating in Boy Scouts.
They
haven't. They have like formally denounced Boy Scouts.
Yeah,
and
that sucks. What?
And that was such a cool program.
What?
I loved Boy Scouts.
Dang.
So they created their own thing.
Yep.
But they have officially severed their relationship with the Boy Scouts of America.
When did that happen?
Sucks. Are you kidding me, dude? What?
It's been within the last 10 years because it was after we got married.
Yeah.
I think the Boy Scouts of America. That's such a good program for boys to be a part of, because it's like that teaches you so many different skills that not a lot of people learn growing up. Like there's even a huge
how to start a fire without a match.
So
like how to properly use a gun, how to ride horses, how to like basic first aid skills.
Yeah.
Like
so it looks like the church ended their relationship with Scouting and announced a new program. It looks like
the new program called?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me
Isn't
read
it
a little bit farther on this. But it looks like it ended sometime on May 11th, 2017. First Presidency announced plans to discontinue
that
as
sucks.
varsity and venturing scouting programs for young men ages 14 to 18 in the United States and Canada, replacing it with a new activities program. Let me read this a little bit while you guys talk. Let me find out what it's called.
Yeah, so they severed, and I think it was because there was so much there was like, well, women should be able to participate in the Boy Scouts as well and all that stuff.
And vice versa, and the whole identity politics, and they started bringing into it, and they're just like, nope, we're not doing that anymore.
All right. Well, either way, that sucks. But going back to the show, Rian, did you see the show?
So yeah, we watched it together.
Okay,
I'm the one that introduced him to it.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts on the show? Just as a show, what did you guys think?
I thought it was interesting. There was one scene that I really don't understand. That's still like, and I don't even know what episode it was in or whatever. But like, a deputy goes and searching and like gets lost in the woods. And then finds
like
a guy
young
fishing.
One?
Yeah. And like,
oh, that guy.
And he's a bishop. And I'm like, I don't understand how this is pertinent to the rest of the story. That's the only thing that I was like, I don't understand why that's.
Yeah, I was in my head when I saw that. I remember going like, oh, like, did he get kidnapped? And now he's like, oh, you're like in the sanctuary and he's just cool with it or something.
Yeah.
And it turned out he was just on a vacation. Like,
it made no sense to me.
Yeah. I didn't think that made any sense either.
Or that they were trying to find him or something. I can't remember why, but it wasn't done in a way that seemed to fit enough for it to be cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
So that, other than that though, I thought it was an interesting. The storytelling was a little. Well, I don't know. Like, it went back and forth on a few things, so it was kind of hard to follow.
Children
sometimes.
and Youth.
It was kind of hard to follow at some points. Yeah.
So the new scouting program that they're replacing is called Children and Youth.
Children and Youth.
No, it's not. It's called something else, but here, I'm gonna look it up. I actually still have access to my thing, but go ahead and discuss. I will.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought that's what it was called. Maybe it's the wrong verbiage. Sorry, guys. My Google skills are not very good. LDS program to replace Scouts, and I didn't get the name of it apparently. So, there's that. I actually found the characters like very interesting and compelling. I think it kind of gives you a very small window into like the inner workings of like, LDS individuals and stuff like that, even though it's, surrounding a very radicalized, fundamental group. I found their depictions of like different rituals and stuff inside the temple to be kind of interesting.
Oof.
And I don't know if those were actual.
They were actual covenants that they took.
I don't know if those were real back then.
They were. That whole thing that they did with the whole like.
No.
That whole sign. Yeah, it was a legit thing.
Really?
Yeah, they got rid of it. They did get rid of it in the 80s, but before then, that was a covenant that people would take. At that time, that still was. So.
Yeah, there's
They've-
been a couple of modifications.
Yeah, they've done tons and
there's
tons and tons of
been-
modifications.
I was going to say, I think
Like,
there's probably been more than just a couple of modifications.
Yeah.
Especially when I learned that there's been over thousands of revisions of the Book of Mormon, and I was just like, interesting.
Yeah, and it's what makes it even more interesting is the doctrine is always like the church is constant, like things will never change, and then it's just like, well, the world changes, and then like now the church is doing all these things to change their own policies in order to fit that of like what's going on with the world in order to legally fit in or make sense, I guess. So like which was a huge thing that they brought up in the show too, was this whole idea of like that was an actual thing. Joseph Smith taking on multiple wives, and he took on several behind Emma Smith's back without her even knowing.
Yep.
Without like even his own like Oliver Cowdery and the people that followed him, Brigham Young, they didn't even know that he was taking on multiple wives either. But he was also sending missionaries out into the world to take on multiple wives before the doctrine was even before it was even a revelation, behind everybody's backs. And then when everybody came back and asked him about it, he would deny it. Like, just so mind-blowing to me. But yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
You can also find all that information
So
on the church's
question,
website,
why were
just so-
penalties removed from the endowment? So apparently this was prior to the 1990s. A former version of the endowment prior to the 1990s, this is according to fairlatterdaysaints.org. I mean,
It was Duty
Grain
to
of
God,
salt.
by the way. Duty to God was the new program that the church tried to
No.
implement.
Duty of God was still implemented it was alongside.
It was alongside, but it was meant to eventually replace that. That was their long-term plan, and that's the focus that they took after they severed their relationship with the Boy Scouts.
Interesting. So here's what I found. So a former version of the endowment prior to 1990 used to contain mention of various penalties associated with the breaking of the temple covenants. So a former version of the endowment used to contain mention of various penalties associated with breaking of the temple covenant. Some people use this fact to claim that temple encouraged violence or vengeance against those who violated its covenants, or the church sought to use fear to motivate members to keep their covenants. One critic of the church even proposes asking the following question of Mormon politicians as a religious test for those who are running for office. Really? Interesting. Interesting.
By the way, I don't think Duty to God is a real program anymore.
Interesting. Like it was a
It
real
was,
program when I was doing it back in 90s, 2000s, somewhere around there.
So it's in archived material. So
So it's probably not
So
even.
like I said, they've changed. Like so much has changed in the last 10 years,
Yeah.
which is so weird to me.
Ritual enactment curse? What? They would curse people?
The church
All
was
right,
involved
I don't want to
in
read this anymore. This is getting weird.
The church was involved in some gnarly stuff, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we already knew this, but
Yeah.
this is only because we've, lost our faith in in religious aspects and that's the only reason that we look for this stuff, because it's really interesting when you're completely involved and completely like, in faith with, in alignment with what people are saying and believing. You don't look in the past. And what's really interesting is because when you look into the past, when you look into historical documents, even, what's interesting is you start comparing like historical documents of, the LDS church, individuals within the LDS church, and kind of compare and contrast those with what they're teaching now. It kind of gets really murky.
Yeah.
Did you guys know they don't even publish the Ensign magazine anymore?
No, I haven't even noticed. I honestly never even kept up with it, to be honest. Like,
well, we're in the digital age now. It doesn't surprise me that they're no longer doing.
Well, no,
the
but
Ensign.
like even the Ensign was available digitally for the longest time, but they're not even utilizing it.
No, are you for sure?
For sure. Like
for sure?
2020, they stopped publishing in 2020. A family of global. Yeah, so they have the Liahona, they have like all these youth ones, but they don't have any.
Ensign, 1971 to 2020, so
yeah.
they stopped it. Used to be a monthly publication.
And that's where you got all your home teaching and visiting teaching things, lessons from, and
that's where you got all the information from,
home teaching. I
like
remember
in physical
that.
form from.
I remember doing that all the time.
Sorry.
Were you ever involved in home teaching, Jacob?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
all the time.
I remember my dad and I would do that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And mostly it was just
stuff.
basically you going to other person's home, you bullshit for about 20 or 30 minutes. You share like a 5-minute spiritual message, you pray, and then you leave.
Yeah, I remember. That's what's crazy is for a little. Actually, I won't go into that. That's but like.
Yeah, don't share anything if you don't feel comfortable with it.
I was about to know.
Or if you're gonna,
I probably shouldn't.
Or if you're gonna dox somebody.
Nah. But yeah, I remember being so involved with that with my dad just when we were active in our church, just as a teenager, like as a like when you turn 14, you become a teacher, and then 16, you become a priest, and oh man.
And then you were responsible to go and do home teaching visits with your dad.
Yeah, like you would always
Collect
as a young
fast offerings,
and like as a young man, like you yourself had to be in charge of a lot of that, or like at least I did anyway.
Yeah.
But
they really allocated a lot of different things to the youth, which is really
well, it
interesting.
was designed to help them learn leadership skills.
Yeah,
that is
and
true.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so I will say this, like the church and how.
Okay.
There are some leadership.
So the way they did things, it was designed to help teach like responsibility and leadership and all that sort of stuff.
Community. There's a lot.
So
of
there's
good
a
that came out
lot
of
of
it, for sure.
positive things to
Absolutely.
it. But then after a certain point,
It's spiritually manipulative.
yes, and it becomes a toxic type of situation as opposed to
Uplifting and edifying.
Yeah, it's used to manipulate, and like it bugged me like that. The spiritual manipulation, it's like, oh well, we're gonna assign you to teach. Like it was
like you're just giving out assignments. They're like, but I prayed about this a lot, and God let me know that you should be.
90% of the time, it's a calling of desperation, not a calling of.
Yeah,
I know.
There's not people like standing in line being like, hey, I want to teach, or I want to take care of the little kids, or whatever the case may be.
I did Sunday when I was 18 or 19. I did Sunday school. I did teach Sunday school to 15 and 16-year-olds, I think.
Yeah.
I taught all kinds of different ages, but the 15 and 16-year-olds, I would honestly spend the majority of the meeting like doing icebreakers of like, what are you looking forward to this week? What are you nervous about? What happened last week that you really liked? And like maybe play a game or something, and then like share like a 10-minute spiritual message, and that would be it. Because like
sounds like primary.
I understood.
Just a lot of activities and
I understood. I was like, well, I knew when I was 15, 16 in Sunday school, like I didn't want to, like, we're in church for 3 hours. Like, can we do something fun? Like,
oh yeah, I mean the structure it was. It was brutal.
Oh man, 3 hours, dude.
But God is never changing, so why'd they change worship from 3 hours to 2?
Yeah, they did go down to 2 hours, but
Well, because it was COVID.
Oh, that's right. The dirty,
was it?
the dirty
Oh, yeah.
coof.
Well, they did it right before COVID hit.
Yeah.
Did the Mormons start COVID?
No.
No, but
I'm just kidding.
the leaders were continue to perpetuating the fear mongering and stuff and encouraging members to get vaccinated.
Yeah, that's real effective. Sorry,
And they're under the guise of, they're receiving revelation from God and Jesus Christ.
Okay, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
To further their, political ideologies and stuff, that's messed up.
Yeah, let's talk about how many members of the general authorities are actually physicians and probably have stock, and how the church itself has stock in big pharma. Ooh, did I say that?
I think you said that out loud.
Shoot. Yeah. Never mind. There's nothing to see here. No vested interest at all.
Okay, hang on. I want to reel back to the show really quick.
Yeah,
do you guys remember there was an episode where the detective actually had a meeting with the bishop, and he's got his 2 little girls there. They're doing like their interview before they get baptized into the church. So there's like that part where it's just Jeb and this bishop that are speaking, and he's bringing up all these issues that are going on. He's like telling this bishop like everything that's going on in his head. He's choosing to be vulnerable with this guy.
Yeah.
And the bishop's response is to put his question on a shelf.
Oh.
Yep.
Have you ever heard that phrase before?
Oh, yeah. Had it said to me.
Me too.
Specifically.
I've also heard that phrase too from from bishops and a couple teachers. Like,
Specifically,
I'm like, what?
When I was saying I went to my bishop about some spiritual gifts, I was told, you can't receive that revelation. That is only for members of the general authorities to receive.
That's weird. That's wrong.
I agree.
Like, it's either put it on a shelf or put it in a box. I've heard put it in a box before.
Yeah. Or compartmentalize it.
Yeah, like when
When
he said that on the show, I was like, bro,
Red
what?
flag!
I was like, what the F? Like, what? Like, I've heard that as a kid. Like, I in my head, I was thinking like that was just something that was between me and my bishop, and I was like, everybody's saying this. Like, what?
I didn't really get that. I was told, if you have confusing questions or questions that are contradictory to the doctrines of the church,
then just read the Book of Mormon.
Pray about it.
No, I wasn't told to pray about it or anything like that. They would just say that those were questions that are being brought to you by basically Satan and his minions and telling you
he's
to...
planting those questions in your head.
Yep.
Like, that's them trying to...
That's another one of those spiritually manipulative tactics that they use. Of like, if you have bad thoughts, they're not your thoughts. That's Satan whispering in your ear. It's like, bro, can I have a little bit of authenticity here?
Yeah.
My guy, come on. Like, I have bad thoughts, so what?
Yeah.
I know you got them too, homie.
Yeah, we have it's really interesting that Harry Potter is so wise in this thing. Remember the conversation between Harry and his uncle where, he's basically saying that he's just angry all the time, and he says something to the effect is that we all have light and dark within us.
His godfather. And, And he was actually talking to Dumbledore because he was worried about when he had his sorting hat. The sorting hat said he could have been in Slytherin. Like, because he was like, not Slytherin, not Slytherin. And he's like, not Slytherin, eh? Yes, it's all here, blah, 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 blah.
Law of attraction.
And that's where Dumbledore said, we all have light and dark in us. It's which we choose to feed.
Oh, yeah, that whole...
Hold on. Let me pull this up really quick.
Holding on. I'm slipping.
So we all got both light and dark inside us. Matters is the part that we choose to act on. That's who we really are. See, J.K. Rowling, you have some good stuff. Apparently it was supposedly between Harry and Sirius.
Oh, maybe it was when he was in...
I could have sworn it was between hairy and serious.
Yeah.
I could
maybe
be
you're
wrong.
right.
I could be wrong.
I think it's touched on a couple of different times.
Yeah, but I think the main part was in Order of the Phoenix.
Because there is, the Order of the Phoenix, that was a dark book. That was where he was going through his dark teenage angsty phase.
Yeah.
How do we go from Under the Banner of Heaven and talking about Mormonism to going to talking about
It
freaking
was-
Harry
It's
Potter?
all
was-
it all connects.
It was
It all
Jacob's
connects. It's this is the way my brain works, bro. It just goes from one to the next to the next to the next.
Oh,
But
man.
it was
I
like
apologize.
the whole questioning. The thing that was very bothersome for me, very bothersome, is when, who's the oldest son?
It was Ron.
Ron is the oldest son
Yeah.
that has the blonde wife.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
She was the convert, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's correct.
No, the convert from Scotland.
That was Dan Lafferty.
Dan, okay.
He was
So Ron is the guy who's the general contractor. He's not a chiropractor. He became a contractor and
so
business.
Dan was the one that the dad chose to be like the overseer of the
right,
family.
even though Ron
was the oldest.
right?
Yeah.
So, like, there was an episode where he was talking to a loan officer at a bank or whatever, and something came up, and the loan officer saw him didn't give him a loan because of church issues or because of the brother doing tax, like, political stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how he found out his wife wrote a letter saying she was concerned about the family and all this stuff. And he witnessed Dan.
Ron
Ron. He witnessed Ron, like,
strike his wife.
oh,
Oh.
and didn't say anything and was still willing. I'm like,
That got me a little bit. Yeah. I was like, bro.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to say, but that shit still happens. I'm just,
and it's all being done like it's all being taken care of within the LDS church community, like with the bishop and stuff. They're not taking
And-
it to the police,
and
or anything
it's
like
like,
that. And I
well,
think that's wrong.
if you would give your husband what he needs, he wouldn't treat you this way, or he's the priesthood
Ooh.
holder.
Shut up, dude.
Yeah,
You,
that stuff happens, bro.
But also the amount of women who do that to
other women?
women.
Yeah,
That is an issue in our culture as well, in the LDS culture. And see, this is what fires me up. But when I saw that, I was like, and I had to push pause, and I was like, Jacob!
yeah, but
That
it's
infuriated
good
me.
that they addressed it and that they showed it within that, because that does happen and it's just not talked about.
There, so much is exposed.
It's so they definitely have shown a lot of the darker side of the LDS faith for sure.
It's crazy too because the Mormon religion sees this show and they're like totally hate it, and they're like, people should not watch this show, and it's like, of course you're going to tell people that they shouldn't watch the show.
Yeah,
Are
they
you
said that
kidding me?
about the Book of Mormon by the guys that did South Park.
Yet
Oh.
the history that they talk about in South Park regarding Joseph Smith is more accurate than the history that's provided to kids in primary classes.
That's actually
Well, of course.
that's actually pretty true, because the accounts of the things that happened in Joseph Smith's life and the accounts of him progressing through finding the plates and the Urim and Thummim and all this other stuff. It's there's actually several different accounts within the historical
Did you
documents of the
see-
church, which is very strange. But yes, like it was actually the line of what happened with Joseph Smith. They go through the parts that were actually the accounts back from the 1800s instead of like the different versions and the version that's given today,
Right.
which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that they found an actual photo of Joseph Smith?
Did they?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, what?
Look
No.
it up.
I wonder what the guy looks
Look
like.
it up, Jacob. Put actual photo, like,
Also,
yeah, it's crazy.
you guys remember, this is just like a random tidbit. So you remember that story that you're told as a kid growing up, the whole story that happens with Joseph Smith's leg when he's a kid, and how he had that surgery.
Oh, and
like,
how he refused to drink whiskey
he refused to drink the alcohol that they provided him.
to no, dull the pain.
Yeah.
Which one
So-
is this?
So
This
Well,
one right here?
Is that the most recent one?
I don't know.
I think so.
Is this one you're talking about?
I think so.
pull it over. Let the people watch and see.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Well,
How do I
anyways,
zoom in?
that might be Joseph Smith.
I don't know.
But anyways, that whole story when Joseph Smith was a kid, how when he had this whole thing going on with his leg, and they had to
No, I
do this
can't
whole
get a big enough one. Sorry. Go ahead.
they had to do this whole surgery on him, and he refused to drink the alcohol.
To cut
And-
out the infection, right?
Mhm. Yeah. So a lot of stories in the Mormon Church tend to use that as like a testament to his
Purity.
strong will and how pure he is. First of all, it wasn't like the whole word of wisdom wasn't even a thing.
Yeah, the word
when
of
that
wisdom
was-
didn't even come until after the School of Prophets. And
Well,
Yeah.
Also,
and some
he
of
didn't-
it's the things that led up to that were kind of questionable of whether it was of a divine nature or if it was I need to appease my wife.
So the whole
Oh.
thing.
Sorry, continue.
So the whole thing is, there was this discussion on how Joseph Smith's father was a drunk, and he was very abusive with alcohol, and that's why he refused. That's why he refused, is because he didn't want to touch alcohol after seeing the effects that it had with his dad, and that's where that comes from. That's
because the story of his family wasn't. There's not really any disparaging information shared
yeah,
about his family.
no, but
Within the top with the surface level information, they don't talk about a lot of the stuff that went on in their family.
Mhm.
You really have to dig into journals of discourse, history of Mormon Church,
there's so
Mormon
much
doctrine. If you go through a lot of that stuff, you'll actually find
and there's
the
a lot
information you're
of
looking for.
there's a lot of history and a lot of books that were taken out of BYU's library because it's so
Damning, yeah.
it's so horrible, and and Mormons that would read that. And that's the crazy thing too, is a lot of 18, 19-year-olds are choosing to go on these missions for a year and a half to 2 years and not being provided this information.
Yep.
You're making a big decision when you could be going to school to get an education, or you could be going to work for a company that could see you going places that the church may not. But you're choosing. This is a big decision to make.
Yeah.
And just
2 years
blows-
is not a short amount of time.
and you're not being provided the big picture, my guy.
And you're not really given anything afterwards, except for hey, thanks for your service.
I don't even think that these 18 and 19-year-olds are choosing to go on a mission themselves.
No.
A lot of them are going.
Most of them are not.
Most of them, if not, most of them are choosing to go to please their friends and their families.
Yep.
That is it.
And I can
social
attest
you
to
were-
that.
cultural pressure.
When you were 8 years old and you were baptized, you were far too young. Your brain was not developed at all.
I had no idea what it meant to be baptized when I was 8.
Yeah.
It really...
It's just what you did because that's what you were taught in primary. It's what you're
That's
taught
what
in
the
Sunday
family
school.
did.
You
I had
sing
So your
no
family
idea.
teaches you.
You sing songs about it. You literally, all the primary songs teach you, I hope they call me on a mission.
Yep.
I love to see the temple.
You're-
Going
So,
there someday.
Quick message to all those 18 and 19-year-olds that are thinking about serving missions. It is your choice, my guy. And if you go, make sure you're going with 100% knowledge. Or as much knowledge as you can.
Yeah.
It's a big decision. Also, don't let anybody tell you that you don't have a choice, because you do.
Yeah. Amen. And I can attest to that. Because I did serve a 2-year mission, and with the individuals that I served with, it was very clear who were the ones that went out because, they really believed it, or if they're just I'm just here because if I don't, my parents are not going to be happy about it.
So over a third of missionaries that go out now are coming home due to a high amount of depression, a high amount of anxiety, or losing faith in the church, because you start to realize that.
Well, you start actually learning about the church while you're on your mission.
Yeah, because you start to learn all these things that you weren't even aware of. You start to learn about who Joseph Smith actually was. He wasn't this great hero. Like I hate to break it to you, but like he wasn't. He was he was terrible. He was like I said, he was taking on multiple wives behind his wife's back, behind his friends' backs, and he would deny it to the law. Like, no, no, those 116 pages that were lost, those were all this whole revelation on taking on multiple marriages. Like, it wasn't because like these evil men wanted to take away that knowledge. No, it's because it was revelation that was against the law at that time, and it still is. What am I even saying? But,
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that part. Yeah. See, here's the thing, and like, I still have family who's very involved in the church and everything, and that's good. That's fine. And I still have like a testimony of Jesus Christ and the gospel, like his gospel, right? Like of the grace and that whole concept. But I don't necessarily participate in the church.
And finding your relationship with God is your job to do on your own.
Right.
It
and
is not anybody else's to tell you what that is.
And I feel like I have a better relationship, like a healthier relationship with God now than I did when I was in the church. And I realized because my relationship with God when I was practicing or, active in the church wasn't a relationship with God. It was a relationship with a spiritual, manipulative, controlling entity. And I don't believe that's God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I struggled on my mission because, I would meet all these different people and have really great experiences with them. And they would come to the church that I was, representing at the time. I would go and visit them at their churches at the time and still feel the same good feelings, which was very strange.
And I was told that if you went to another church and felt that it was the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Holy
spirits.
Spirit.
Yeah.
It was evil spirits trying to convince you and lure you away from the church.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and if you read out of the Bible, it even tells you that, that devils and evil beings can represent themselves and portray themselves as angels and messengers from God. And those feelings can be very easily manipulated. So, I don't know. But overall, I think going back to the series, I think the series is really, really good. I don't know if it's a one and done kind of thing or if they're going to do another season, but I'd love to see another season. Like, Andrew Garfield is absolutely, like, I love
that man.
He did such a great job. And the casting was so good.
He definitely has that, like, Mormon dad cop vibe. Like,
yeah.
He's a great actor. He can pull off anything, I think. But, like, that role, I feel like the show was so successful because of him.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, Hulu.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's on Hulu, right?
It's on Hulu, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Hulu is kind of out for the church because there was another series that they did too.
Oh yeah, I remember. We'll
probably
have to save that for another one. Though.
The creator of Under the Banner of Heaven, he himself is an ex-Mormon. Yeah.
Well, for an ex-Mormon, he did a great job portraying,
he did an
the life behind, LDS people. How easily it was to get ostracized if you go against certain individuals and
there was like that whole scene.
It's pretty crazy.
There was like the whole scene where he went to church the morning after he came out with that statement on the news. You remember that scene where like the chief had just gotten back and he had to give a statement to the media, and then he went to church the next day, and it was like everybody was giving him dirty looks.
Yeah.
With him and his family, like that. I was
or
like,
the judgment.
Was it like the
that his-
bishop and his wife like came up to him and be like,
yeah, I think so. Like the
or
wife,
something like that?
the wife said something to his wife that really like,
Yeah.
that was like, you did not need to
It's
say
because
Yeah.
like they were choosing to wait for their daughter to get baptized,
that. Oh yeah, that's right.
and his wife was worried that of the judgment, and it came like, and it was a real thing.
through the members.
Yeah,
That was here's the thing that like really got me too, was like there was a part of me that was like I didn't want him to fall away from the church, specifically
Yeah.
because like I knew for him as a character, I was like, I know that this is something that means so much to him. Like
Right.
his family is involved. He's got two little baby girls.
Yeah.
He's got
Very
a
active
wife
and
that
strong
is very
wife.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a very active wife who didn't really seem super supportive. Well, I mean, granted, we didn't really see much of her throughout the show, unless like it had to do with his mom, which was another thing, is like showing how the church at that time was so against medications, or like they kind of depicted it like it was.
Yeah.
Because his mom, like I don't remember what she has exactly, but she has
Alzheimer's, dementia.
Yeah, so they're like, so the wife is really wanting to get her on meds, but Jeb is like, no, like we got to stay away from that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
It's a very cool show,
mind-blowing
though.
stuff,
Very
dude.
interesting show. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it, even though I kind of it was a little bit triggering, as hearing that verbiage and language, and the way that people treated each other, both good and bad. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah, definitely
Well, just
recommend
the
for sure.
whole-
It's a very good, very interesting series for sure.
What I was so
Final
interesting to me was to see the dynamic of the husbands and how they treated their wives, and
Yeah.
how they expected them to be so subservient and everything. I was like, oh,
Very misogynistic.
Oh,
And they definitely showed the differences between like the mainstream LDS faith at that time, and the fundamentalists and the reorganized kind of individuals. Like it definitely showed that line for sure,
Oh man.
which is really interesting.
Yeah, the whole FLDS part of the whole show. Oh man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
and how he wanted to go back and practice that, and like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it was crazy because they talked about like, oh, like they're just in Colorado City. Colorado City is not that far from here.
Nope. No, it's not. I think it's like 4 or 6 hours, something like that.
No, it's
No.
less than that. It's like an hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah,
2 hours.
an
Yeah.
hour. And
Yeah,
a
it was
half.
like I remember driving to Colorado.
Colorado
far.
City is different than.
It's
Oh, then-
like
yeah.
southern
It's on
Utah,
the-
Arizona border.
It's on the Arizona-Utah border.
Yeah.
And Hilldale.
Highly
Colorado City,
highly
Hilldale.
recommend the series for sure.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. Whether you're Mormon or not Mormon, like it's very eye-opening.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah,
And it's good
definitely
storytelling.
recommend- It's good storytelling, and it's very eye-opening,
Yeah.
whether you're Mormon or not. So
Yeah. Scale of 1 to 10. What do you give it, Alki?
me, as someone that relates to it well enough, I give it an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rianne?
I was gonna say 8 too.
Yep. I'm gonna give it an 8 as well. Thank you all so much for watching and listening to another podcast. We really do appreciate it. All of our links are in the description down below. And from our family to yours, good night.
Peace out, home dog.
Bye.
Good night. Hello everyone, Jay Rhymes with the Periodic Review. Today's video is sponsored by viewers like you, so thank you. Hopefully we've earned your subscription today, so don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit that damn bell to turn on your notifications so you don't miss a content release. Check out the video links at the end of every video to view our previous content, as well as visit the description section for more links to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and from my family to yours, good night.